All right, here we go. I'm waiting for some of my moderators to get in here, but they have not arrived. So now that the tone is set, let's see what the energy is doing. We've got Aries. We've got the South Node. And we've got the 12th house. Ow! Endings. Ooh, oh my god, look, we got Aries. Hello, everybody! We've got Aries and then the 12th house with the South Node. So the beginning and the end, looking, it's like not even looking back on something. It's like just marching forward, just moving forward. Sacrifice, Pisces. Conclusions. Yeah, I really think it's like a lot of, I mean, I hope you can hear me okay. I am working with a new microphone that I'm pretty sure is working, but just in case. Sup, homies, sup. I don't think I've wrote sup for about 20 years. Thank you for bringing that back to me. You guys are just chattering in the chat. Trust me, I ain't gonna fucking pay attention. I don't care, but you're writing no a million times, you moron.
All right, here we go. For those who care, listen to the message. For those who want to be stupid, get out and never come back. Rot and die. Who gives a shit? All right, here we go. Beginning and the end. Okay, so what I'm seeing is, okay, so the beginning of the end, it would be something like, the beginning would be kind of like the beginning of your life, like childhood, early memory, something like that. Um, and somebody was determined to scare you, like not just to scare you, but to like psychologically, like torment you. And they only had this like little bit of time to mess with you, and they used every moment of that time, every second, every minute, every hour. They used to psychologically fuck with you. Okay, and so much so that like they're in your dreams. Like if this was a spouse, not only were you living with them and waking up with them, but they were in your dreams too. If this was your parents, again, like you're waking up, here they are chasing you around, like demonizing you. And that is really hard for me to say because I really like demons. I'm really getting along with demons right now, but there are really bad ones out there, as there is, good and bad with anything. But that really hurts me that like somebody, it's almost like kind of purposely used an entity. Like say you were scared of spiders. Yay! Had their moderator up in the house. I've been fucking waiting for a moderator. We are getting hit like a motherfucker, and now it's gonna stop because Heather's there. So it's almost like I feel. So say your parent knew, okay, or your spouse knew that you were terrified of the water, or you were terrified of spiders, or you were terrified of whatever it is. Fill in the blank yourself. That's what they used to scare you every day. So it would be like, if you don't do this, then I'm going to put a spider in your fucking bed. If you don't do this, then I'm going to fucking throw you in the water. Like I'm going to do something to you, and they use your fear. And that is the psychological torment, because not only did something happen to you to make you feel like you had to fear something in general, but now this person uses that fear to their advantage. Something that's like tormenting you and scarring you, they're using as a tool. Okay? And I feel like, only because, like, honestly, when I see this Halloween card, because I've always loved the storyline of Halloween, but when you think about it, Michael just chases his sister around her whole life and torments her from start to finish. And that is the kind of abuse that leaves you with like complex trauma. Like so much stems around that. You don't even know how much your day stems around complex trauma because you're just constantly in a stressful environment in yourself. And that stressful environment inside yourself creates a stressful environment around you. And no matter how hard you try, and no matter what you try to do, it stares at you and it stands in front of you, blocking your way. Okay? And you can't get around it. Like Lori. I mean, how much does she try to get away from her brother? And she can't. Okay? She can't. And when I said brother, my third eye saw boyfriend. So I don't know if someone's dealing with a boyfriend who is like psychologically mistreating them. And I mean, I'm seeing this motherfucker show up to your work. You know, you say you're working until 9 o'clock. Yo, they are there at 7:55. Oh yeah, you're done at 8 o'clock. They're there at 7:55 waiting for you. You know, or they stop by when you say you're working to make sure that you're there. Stuff like that. Like that's all part of this controlling game. And with Freddie, he controls these people through their dreams to act out in 3D. Okay, so I mean, at this point in time, you know what I was thinking about? It was really weird because in the shower, I think my grandfather is going to die, and he's been coming to me quite a bit recently and speaking to me about my father and the things that my father did wrong. And the reason why he's telling me what my father did wrong is because he knows, as the father to my father, he did a lot wrong. So what he said to me the other day, he goes, you know, the way that your father yelled at you is the way that I yelled at him. And I went, well, you know, like, okay, I get that. I understand why you're telling me that, because obviously a lot of our parents, the way that they treat us, even boyfriends, girlfriends, the way that they're treated, this stems from parents, no matter what, right? They will watch that. Okay, and they'll replicate that, and they'll repeat it in their lives over and over and over again. And what I noticed was, by them saying that, by him saying that to me, I was like, and then it was like this reenactment played out of my grandfather, like walking into my dad's room, like way back in the day. And like, I know this house because it's where they grew up. And he like yelled at my dad for doing something. And then the snippet showed my dad walking into my room and yelling at me like that. And my grandfather goes, I never anticipated he would yell at you girls. The thing is, my grandfather had all boys, and he had his first child at 20. My grandmother was 17. He was 20 years old. All he knows or knew at the time was to go to work and to take care of his sons and to make sure his wife wasn't a raging lunatic that day. Okay, my grandmother was a fucking psycho. Okay, so he had to what his job really was to do was like keep everybody in line. Okay, and because his job was that, his sons all replayed that. Okay, as fathers themselves. But my father was the only one who had girls. My father had 2 girls, whereas his brothers all have multiple boys. Okay, so what my grandfather thought, because my grandfather was so gentle with my sister and I, because we were the only 2 girls, right? So he was very gentle with us. He thought my father was going to be the same way. He didn't realize my father was such an asshole. And what happened, okay, talk about irony. So my stepmother played victim about 15 years ago, took early retirement, moved up to the lake. Okay, what nobody realized was that my parents bought the house beside his parents. Literally right beside his fucking mother and father. Okay? And my grandmother was livid. Fucking livid. Okay? She could not believe her son would have the audacity to move in right beside her. But she didn't really say anything. Like, everybody kind of stayed quiet about it. And then my grandmother died. Okay? She was really narcissistic. Everything was about her health. If anybody even tried to talk about their lives, you know, she would start crying as if she cared so much, you know, but she didn't. And you could tell a narcissist when you see a narcissist. Everything is about them, only about them. And once she died, okay, then my grandfather suddenly had all this time in the day, right? Because now he's not taking care of my fucking, like, victimized grandmother, okay? So now he's taking care of himself. And who does he have to look at all day? My father and his wife, who's not my mother, by the way. And I feel like my grandfather got put into a judgment phase where he had to sit there and watch my father. And my father and I don't speak, right? We haven't spoken for years. And my father makes up so many lies about why he doesn't speak to my sister and I, and he rapes me in my dreams. And my father does the worst things to me and my sister. And he's always been able to get away with it with his father until recently. Now patterns are repeating and people are noticing that, and this is going to be with you too, okay? People are noticing you're not around, okay? And you haven't been around. Well, if you haven't been around, why are people saying the same things about you, right? Why is it the same patterns coming out of their mouths? Why are they even talking about you at this point in time, right? So my grandfather's starting to notice things. And yeah, he might be old, but he's not that fucking old, you know? Like, he's wise. He's a quiet man, and he acquires information over time. He's an Icarus. He knows what he's doing. I've always trusted that about him. And recently, you know, when that happened to me today in the shower, I was like, okay, so my father used manipulation and my fear to control me, so much so he appeared in my dreams. He often appears in my dreams. Okay, so whoever you're dealing with, whatever this energy is, it's the beginning and the end. It's something that started and now is over. So I don't know what phase of this in your life it was. I don't know if it's a certain it's obviously a relationship, but I don't know what relationship in your life it would be. I don't know if it's your parents, if it's a love life, if it's your children, right? Your own children could have betrayed you, or your parents betrayed you. Something happened, okay? And if you're the one that psychologically abused somebody, then you're getting called out for this, okay? Which a lot of these trolls who are watching, they're pretending like they're not paying attention, but they actually are. They're just saying mumbo jumbo, okay, to get somebody to pay attention to them, but they're actually listening, okay? Because the way that trolls act, how they come in and they start, you know, kind of badgering everybody and speaking ill and telling everybody to shut up. That's what they were told. That's what their parents did to them, right? They were constantly hushed, silenced, being told to be quiet, move on, change the subject, you're an idiot, you're a nerd, get off your computer, right? These trolls have been demonized and victimized like anybody else, or they wouldn't be acting like this, okay? Hurt people. And that's the motto I have always stuck to, because anybody who's ever hurt me over the years, I've seen their PTSD come out of them. So I know they're traumatized from something. And that trauma that's traumatizing them is trying to traumatize me. So once you realize what's controlling you and that your trauma is controlling you, you get a hold of that. You realize, okay, it's not going to be something that just like wipes away tomorrow, but it's going to be something that you slowly work on. Then you realize how much that trauma is controlling your everyday life. And then that control sets in, you start seeing it on other people. Once you start seeing it on other people and recognizing, oh my God, that's how I act, that's what I do in that situation, and this is why, what the fuck, you really start to learn that, like, man, those victimies, those entitled little ones, those ones who really don't know how they're acting, is all based off their parents. It's all based off of what they've seen, what they've been around, what they've learned, right? Because we are all here as students, you know, and we're trying to be taught. And we're listening and we're observing and we're watching. And those things that we're listening and observing and watching, we're repeating, right? Because we don't know right away that it's the wrong thing to do. If my father had have known, hey, if you end up yelling at your daughters for, you know, the first 20 years of their life, you're going to turn them into monsters. Would you do that? Now, my father is an asshole. He's easily controlled. He victimizes himself. He's a drunk. He's entitled. He was the firstborn. And you know, the firstborns tend to be somewhat the worst because of how their mothers treat them. Because their mothers put all this attention on them and make them seem like they're the center of the world, when they're not. All they need to be is just the center of their mother's world. Okay, so their mother can take care of them and make sure that they don't die and fall down the stairs. Okay, so there needs to be the center of somebody's universe, but so then you don't die. Right? And these people, it seemed to be like they wanted you to die, okay, so then they could reincarnate you. Right? So if they killed off all the good things about you, showed up in your dreams, fucking defeminized you, fucking just tore your masculinity apart, tore your imagination out of you, took everything away from you, then they could rebuild you. as a monster, right? Take all the best parts of you and then contain all the ones that they don't like. Okay? Turning you into a fucking Frankenstein, a controlled being, which some watching this are being controlled still. Others who are watching this have realized that they were in a controlled environment and now they're out of it. And, think of yourself as a caged animal. If you are in a controlled environment and now the gates have been opened for you and you're free, do you know how hard it is not to go back to that controlled environment? Do you know how hard it is not to go back because you think that that's what love is because you've based your whole life around it? That's what you were told. That's what everything, you were told. You were made on that ground. You were created in that soil, right? And that soil decayed you and it started to ruin you, right? So you have to break free of that. You have to go into witness protection. You need to free yourself from it so then when the gates open, you don't bring that trauma with you because their intention is to follow you around forever. That's their intention. They don't want to give you a break. They don't want to let you breathe. They don't want to allow you to take control of yourself. They want to be the boogeyman that you stare at all day long and don't move. You won't come out of your house. You sure as fuck won't get any friends. You probably don't work. Or if you do, you work at home or you work away from people because you're scared. You're scared of people. How can you not be? I'm scared of people. I'm terrified of people. I fucking hate people. I walk around with a knife on me all the time. And trust me, if I was in America, I'd be walking around with a fucking gun. You think I trust people? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I'm at the most vulnerable stages sometimes, and I fucking hate that I have to do it. But in another sense, I do find people that I can trust, and I have found a lot of people along the way that surprisingly, I'm kind of like, yeah, if you're all I get, I'll take it. At least you're not out there killing anybody. And I sure as fuck hope that you're not hurting any kids or, doing anything that is breaking the law. And I mean, even breaking the law, it's like, it just depends what you're doing. I mean, like, technically I break the law when I smoke weed in my car. Okay. Am I killing anybody? No. Do I even get high? No. So, like, it's not hurting anybody, right? But some people who smoke weed in their car are idiots and fucking 17 years old, and they go smash into the old lady in front of them because they don't realize that they've stopped because they're fucking pulling on their shit. There's a stupid way to do things because you're juvenile and you're young and you don't really know. And then there's a really smart way of doing things because you've acquired the information, you know what you're doing, you move hesitantly towards something because you know that you should be looking around for all possible danger, right? Once you take control of yourself, like once these people can no longer just infiltrate you and your fear system, which is designed to warn you. Fear, anxiety, panic is engineered inside one's body to, oh my god, have you ever seen Inside Out? Please watch it, the little kid movie. Okay, I don't agree with the second one, but whatever. The first one, awesome. Okay, learn how you activate your buttons because say you're walking up to a mountain and suddenly fear hits you like, hey, back up. You could fall off the side of the fucking cliff. You might want to be like, hey, I'm going to use my fear and back up, right? Fear in misuse tells you don't leave your house, somebody's going to attack you, and if you do, and if something happens to you, you can blame yourself. Because if you die, it's all on you. So fear used in a healthy situation and fear used in an unhealthy situation. Because you have to go out, you have to be in public, you have to get groceries, you have to go to work, you have to survive. So anything that tells you not to go outside, you're like, why? What do you mean, don't go outside? I mean, a lot of us are schizophrenic. You got to understand. Some things you're hearing that are you, and sometimes you're hearing things that are not you. Okay? In that little mind of yours, in that third ear of yours. Okay? It can be infiltrated by something that's trying to control you. Because it's been in there since day one because it's your mother and you shared her body. Right? Like, if people realize the connection that they have with their children, we could actually literally change the world. Okay? Because mothers would stop sending their children telepathy, telling them how much they hate them. They would learn to send them telepathy on how much they love them and how much they support them, and try to put them in a nice, direction. People who don't really want kids, fuck their kids up. Okay, because they don't do their job properly, and they don't pay attention, and they don't teach, and they don't realize that their child is watching and listening and absorbing everything they're doing. There they are yelling at their spouses. There they are acting a motherfucking fool right in front of their kid. Guess what their kid's gonna do? Turn out just like mommy. Right? Or they're gonna turn out like their super awesome dad. Honestly, now all I'm getting is Kanye West's kid, literally West is like Northwest. Yeah. She calls out her mother so much. I think it's amazing, because the reason why she calls out her mother is because Kanye calls her out all the time. So if Kim would say something stupid, Kanye would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? So now what does West do? Kim says something stupid, and West goes, why are you talking like that? Sorry, North. I don't know her fucking name. Mom, why are you talking like that? And Kim actually has video of North calling her out for being a little fucking diva. And North is what, 30 years younger than her? I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure North is supposed to be the diva, not Kim. But Kim doesn't know her fucking job because she was never supposed to be a mother. She was supposed to be a diva and stay a little fucking diva and stay a little model and stay a little fucking... She was just supposed to stay a pinup girl, like most people are. But because they get fucking entitlement and they get an egg drop, or suddenly now they just want a kid because they're famous, like, it just hurts me, because that is most likely, your parents. Like, think about it. When somebody gets pregnant, right, they become like a little celebrity. They become a little famous fucking person, right? Everybody loves them. They want to touch their belly. They want to call it, how's the baby doing? How's mommy doing? How's this doing? Like, a pregnant woman becomes a fucking celebrity. And then, once it's done and gone, and the kid pops out, mommy's not getting attention anymore. Oh, now she's suddenly depressed. How could you possibly be depressed after you have a baby? Like, I thought that's what you wanted. No, it's not what you wanted. You probably should have had a fucking puppy. You probably should have fucking went and saw a therapist instead of just having a kid to make your life better. And you know how many of my friends had kids because they thought their lives were going to get better, and their lives got shittier? But because they're friends with me, that they can actually admit it and be like, yeah, I shouldn't have had them. And I'm like, thank God I didn't follow in your footsteps when we were 18, and I kept my pussy fucking clean, because if I had a kid, just like you had a kid because she had a kid, I'd be hating my life right now like you do. And she's like, yep. Because some people can admit it. Some people, like, especially this friend that I grew up with, she was an Aquarius like me. She just always telling it like it is, like, just no shame, open mouth, just whatever comes to her head, she'd just say. And that's what I always loved about her, like, elephant in the room. She and I were the elephants in the room, like, if somebody was going to say something fucked up, it was either me or Brooke, every time. And she really broke it down with me, and like she admitted some things, and I'm glad she did. I didn't ask her to admit anything, but I'm glad she did, because it wasn't that I was trying to be proved right. I just wanted to, it was just nice to know that I did make the right decision, because I did have an abortion back in the day, and I could have had a kid, and I didn't. And I'm really thankful for that, because I was in a really awful position, and I would have never been able to raise them. Then I was homeless afterwards. So, like, my life got so bad after that because of my trauma and what I went through, that I'm thankful that I live in a country that gave me that opportunity to not fuck up a kid, to not fuck up my offspring and just have a kid because that's what society says to do, because I'm the one who fucked up. You know why I fucked up and got pregnant? Because I was in a really awful place, and I wasn't paying attention, and I didn't know my body, because I wasn't taught when you ovulate, and that, you can actually get pregnant, and that maybe you shouldn't just because you think you like your boyfriend. Like, I wasn't taught what was right, because my parents did everything that was wrong. Right? So I'm living off of people always doing the bad thing, right? So when you have to flip that around and start doing the right thing, don't sweat it if all of a sudden no one's around you, right? Because you're not going to be like everybody else anymore that's been around you. That's why you want to change. And those people aren't going to want that. They're not going to want to see those changes. They're not going to want to accept that shit, because if they accept that you did it, then it's going to be almost like, well, now I have to do it. And they're not going to want to do it, because most people don't want to become good people because they went through something and it changed them, and it changed them for the worse. And they don't want to admit that. They just want to have a grudge, and they want to take it out on people, and they're really confused. And they're confused because nobody ever had their back, and a nice ear to listen to them, to be like, hey, is something wrong? Like, why are you acting like when I started acting out as a kid, it's because I'd been molested. And my parents just said, oh, well, one day you were just bad. What do you mean? What? Well, how was I just bad one day? So you're telling me because suddenly I was crying, throwing temper tantrums, and I wouldn't let you touch me, you're saying I was a bad child. I became a bad child after being forced to go through something a child is never supposed to see. I'm the shitty one? And that's called bad parenting. Because your 3-year-old isn't suddenly just supposed to be an awful person, when up until that one day, they were perfectly fine and peaceful, laying in their bed. Right? Aw, thank you. I'm not really reading the chat because there has been so many awful things being written on here that I'm just not really paying attention to it. Aw, but thank you. Thanks, Nicole, for writing. Yeah, you're gonna have to turn. I know. I don't. I'm so sorry if the mic is super loud. I'm really, really sorry. You're gonna have to turn your volume all the way down, because it's either my mic is super loud or it cracks like I'm on an alien spaceship. So I don't know if you're still there, Dan, but I'm sorry. Every time I watch these lives, I gotta turn it all the way down. So at least the mic is working. Hi, Tony. Hi, everybody, for being here. See how much of the stupid chat was like not writing? Who's gotten rid of all of these? Oh, Heather. Oh my God, Heather, you're kicking ass, girl. Oh, my moderator, Heather. Thank you. We keep him? I feel like that's a fake name. So, anyways, where are we at? A half an hour. This has been a really. Oh my gosh, I haven't even read the last card, people. Look at the last card. Can you see that? That's the last card. I haven't even read it yet. It's the Bates Motel card. We all know this. Psycho. You know how I'm feeling? I'm kind of thinking that, like, to be honest, these people were psychos. Honestly, that's what it is. Like, and you know what psycho is? It's like his mom, right? It's his mom that he can hear, like, talking to him and shit. Right? And that's actually kind of the perfect card. That's the perfect analogy, to be honest, for this reading. Because these people, they did, like, psychologically, like, really get into your head. And when that happens, that's what I mean. The bad version of this is going psycho and killing up people in a motel. Like, that's the bad version of this, right? Because there is a good version and a bad version. Like, that's what I mean. If people just learned how to deal with telepathy, like, there is this one man, okay, who has been in my life for 20 years, almost 20 years, okay? Yeah, I think it's been 20 years. Oh my God, I actually do think it's been about 20 years. Anyways, he's been married the whole time. Okay, he's married the whole time. And it's like over the year, I didn't know that I was a psychic right away. Okay. I've been really working with this for the past, I don't know, maybe 10 years or so. So for the first 10 years of knowing this guy, I barely saw him. Okay. I would see him now and then and far and few. Again, he was married, so I never really saw him. But then all of a sudden, I started seeing him more. And what would happen is I would ignore him. And every time I ignored him, it would affect him in a very negative way. And he would get angry with me. And so much so that there was this one time, I said hi to him when he came in, but I didn't turn around. I was just continuing doing whatever I was doing. And because I didn't turn around and acknowledge him, he actually threw something at the back of my chair. And I fucking turned around and I was like, yeah, I see ya. Right? And then I just left the room, went and did something. Because again, like I was working. So I like left, did something, came back. And he was like, well, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. And then starting to talk to me. Again, this guy's been fucking married this whole time, okay? So I'm like, why do you need my attention? Like, I don't understand. So for the first 10 years, it was very confusing with this person. Until finally, he started getting really flirty with me. And he started text messaging me. And that's when I realized I was kind of trying to decode the messages. And my sister finally was like, dude, this guy likes you. And I'm like, how fucked is that? Like, he's married. He's been with this person for a very long time. And why would he even bother? Like, what the fuck does he care about me? Like, whatever. You like me? Fucking awesome. You know, gawk at me when you see me, but then fucking see you later, right? So the flirting at Texas lasted, I would say, I don't know, probably about a year or so. And then we just flat out went cold. And we didn't talk to each other for years. And till finally I saw him again. And he was single. But awful divorce. Very messy, very PTSD. This woman got into his head. She controlled a lot of everything that he did. And I never really noticed that, right? Because it was always, he showed me so much anger. And I think that's what always confused me, because, and that's what actually, you know, really draws me to people, is trying to understand them and like how they communicate. And this particular person always got angry with me. And then I started to associate his anger was how he deals. He's got this inside anger that he would shoot out, almost like the Care Bears, but the opposite of caring. Okay, so that's what he would do with his wife. He would just shoot this telepathy into her to try to get her to understand what he was saying. But because they were probably never supposed to be together, they never communicated properly, right? So he got aggressive. And that's why I can say this either goes one way or it goes the other way, okay? And then when you go the other way, you can end up killing somebody. And whether or not you do it in 3D or not, your anger can build up to the point where you physically hurt somebody. Because you don't know that anger is pent up sexual frustration, hidden agenda, motives, attitude, feelings. I mean, you fucking name it. That could make anybody lose their shit. But people don't realize that because their parents never said, hey, by the way, you know those times where you feel like you're going to lose it? Let's go out to the woods and deal with that. Okay, my ex did not know how to deal with his anger, ever. Okay, and until we, of course, broke up, and then he started blacksmithing. And banging that fucking metal, iron or cast iron, right? I swear he needed to do his whole life. Because his testosterone and his testosterone inside of him was too high. And he used that as sexual energy, when really, if your masculine energy is that high, I would work out. To be honest, I would go pump some iron. I would go chop some wood. That, then you're allowing that energy to leave you and leave your vessel properly, right? If you pent up that energy and suddenly your spouse is standing in front of you and goes, fuck you pissed me off yesterday, what do you think you're going to do with that? Right? You just got off work, you're angry, you're broke, you're tired, you're fucking hungry, and then this bitch drops some stupid bomb in your face? Snap. Or you have an awful day and you go, you know what? I got to do something for myself, not my wife, not my kid, not my daughter, not my father. I have to do something for me right now. Because guess what? Your kid has another fucking person that can take care of them, okay? Whether or not it's mom, dad, the sister, the uncle, the brother, or it's called just have them there with you and teach them how to do this, and you go take care of yourself. You go for a drive, you smoke a joint, you cut some wood, scream at the top of your lungs, you go for a fucking swim, you go for a run, you go for a job, you go pump iron, you go and you do something for yourself. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that you're supposed to go and take care of yourself. Because I was told I had to go take care of my father and make sure my stepmother was okay and go clean their fucking house and go and walk their dog and go and clean their cars and go and fucking wipe their ass. Okay? I didn't know that Whitney came first after school, after psychological trauma, after abuse, after all the meals that were forced down my throat when I had Crohn's disease and I went into the bathroom and puked. Okay? I didn't know Whitney had Whitney's back. I thought Whitney was supposed to take care of everybody else. Even at the age of 3, 4, 7, 9, 16, 22. Okay? Whitney didn't realize Whitney even had a Whitney until probably about 35. I'm only 38. I've had Whitney for about 3 years. Everybody else got her. I didn't. Okay? So I didn't realize how people acted was how they've been shown how to act. How they react is how they've been shown how to react. Right? Nobody really can understand sometimes what they want to do. It's what they see everybody else do. Right? So it's like, just because something is scary, it's scary to everybody else. Why does it have to be scary to you? Right? Just because something, could kill you, okay, well, yeah, it could kill a lot of people, but I'm paying attention. So I'm going to watch what I'm doing. I'm not going to think about, okay, well, if I die, I'm leaving my kids behind, and I haven't done my will yet, and my mother's going to be pissed off. If you die, it's your time to go. You can't control that, right? There are so many things that we can control, and there are so many things we can't control. And when we have those people in our heads, and that's kind of wrapping up to the guy of 20 years, he was used to forcing negative energy onto his wife to get his wife to understand. She was entitled little rich brat bitch. She ain't never gonna understand you. She doesn't want to understand you. But she'll give you a blowjob afterwards to make sure you feel really great. But she ain't gonna dive into your heart because she doesn't want to. Okay? Most people, they just want your blood. They don't really care what it's doing for you, because they can now live off of it. So you don't get any of it because they need it. Kiss my ass, it's my energy, right? So if people learned how to push their energy out in a way that invites people in, it's going to change your life. I mean, I don't know how to read him because it's anger all the time. He's always showing me anger. And people resort anger with love. So, like I'm doing, I just recently, can you see it? No, because my chair's there. There's a creature back there. I bought a creature. Okay, and he's struggling a little bit from PTSD, and people's hands going in and grabbing him constantly. So I haven't touched him once. And until he gives me the signal that it's okay to come to me, I am not going to do shit. I am not going to put my energy on something that I can clearly see is having a problem just adapting. So I almost feel like if this is something that you had to learn for the outside of you, then this is a great reading. If this is something that you had to learn for the inside perspective part, this is a great reading. Like, there is something that you have to understand about you that they've done. They've constructed this to control you. And that's the beginning of the end. That's what you're turning your back on. That's what this whole, can you see that? South node, where is it? Oh, it's right there. Okay. So this whole south node is talking about is turning your back on the beginning and end of something. Because what's the point? If you've gone past them, if your energy is so far gone that you don't even want to turn around anymore, why does it matter? Why does it matter if you see somebody again? Why does it matter if you never see your parents again? I mean, does it matter? If it does matter, then take the advice and take what resonates and leave what doesn't. If it really doesn't matter about being able to actually physically leave something behind because it's controlling you in a way that you're going to go and hurt people if you continue this way, right? It's going to hurt other people, and that's what they want. Because if you go and you hurt other people, you get in trouble. When there they are from their couch, their own living room, psychologically fucking you up, and it's working. Because you just went and hurt somebody while they're sitting on their couch doing nothing, but sending you really bad messages. So a lot of this is like, obviously the universe would like you to try and read energy. It is something that, I don't suggest it in every situation. It's more like a read between the lines kind of thing. Like, if you're not getting your answer with something, then try to figure out a way to get it out of them without them noticing. Like by me not acknowledging this person when they walked into a room, I acknowledged that they were actually obsessed with me because they wouldn't let me walk away without acknowledging me. Right? A lot of these people, they make it seem like they're the center of your existence, your universe, but they don't really even care about you. So why do you care about them that much? Right? It's like, and I also know this guy, back in the day, I was trying to tell him that his friends were not his friends. And until he finally figured out his own way of doing it. He was a cop. So he figured out his own way of doing it. And what he did was he started inviting his friends over. Hey, yeah, let's party, blah, blah, blah. And then not buying any Coke. And then he realized how many, there was like fucking 9 out of 10 friends left within 5 minutes because he didn't have cocaine at his house. So he realized he had one friend. Because that one friend was like, buddy, I didn't come over here to do Coke. I came over here to watch the game. And he was like, finally, I actually have a friend who wants to sit and watch a hockey game with me and not just blow a bunch of lines, take a bunch of my money, drink all my beer, and then leave. Which is like part of the psychological torment of what people have done to you your whole life. Right? Here, I'm going to take this, I'm going to take this, and then I'm going to take this, and I'm going to slam your door, call you an asshole, I'm going to walk away. How are you an asshole if they just took everything you own? How are they the asshole? Right? Oh, they can't give you more? I'm sorry, honey. No one's supposed to be giving you anything unless it's a barter system, and it's a give and take. I was watching this video of this lady who was like, fuck this. I need a man buying me dinner and letting me stay at home and raise our kids, and he doesn't get to stay at home at all, and what's this 50-50 bullshit? He owes me. And I'm like, there's a negative and a positive to that, because, like, yeah, you should be able to stay at home with your kids. You're the mom. You've got the boobs. Sure, he should be buying dinner. But, I mean, if he wants to take maternity leave, men can do that now, too. They have a right. And, you know, maybe that motherfucker doesn't want to bring out his debit card tonight. Maybe you could fucking do it every once in a while. Right? Like, there's entitlement, and then there's, like, it's 2024. Can we get our shit together now? Like, how about you buy dinner, I buy dinner. You buy dinner, I buy dinner. If a bitch can't afford her fucking plate, maybe she shouldn't be going out to a restaurant to eat. Like, so again, I mean, I don't know, maybe the universe is like kind of asking you to balance something out, because something new is going to come in that involves, you know, there are a lot of men that try to date me and they expect me to control them. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? Oh, no, we're not doing it unless you want to do it. But, and I'm like, what makes you think I want to control this relationship? I just, honestly, I'm just glad to have control of myself at this point in time. I don't want to control you. You can go and do whatever the fuck it is you want to do. I am just going to stay here until you get your shit together. Like, honestly, I don't like when men do that. You know, they all of a sudden demasculate, they almost like demasculate themselves and make it seem like a woman needs to take control of everything. And then it's like can't we just talk about this? Like, what happened to talking? What happened to, hey, well, what would you like to do? Well, I would like to do this. What would you like to do? Not this, I'm taking you here and that's the end. Oh, you can't figure out where you want to go? Like, you know, I find people they just want to fight. You know, they just either want all their fucking answers given to them and they don't have to figure out anything themselves, or they don't want to really talk to this bitch, so they just want her to figure her shit out so then they can go out to eat. Like, it's just like, it just seems like cowardliness on confrontation. I'm not gonna cause a confrontation with this, so I'll just bend over. Have you ever heard of a compromise? Do you guys know that word, compromise? Like, was it just something that we were taught like way back in the day, and like nobody knows like the name of the game now? Like, compromise. We're going to come to a healthy compromise here. Do you know what that means? Like, because like that means that you don't get to win and I don't get to win either. We meet in the middle. Do you know? Do people know what that fucking means? Because like, I don't think they do. I don't think they do. I think they want to be controlled and they want to be put to bed like a little baby, and they want to be fed and they want to be burped and they want to be fucking battered, right? So then they don't have to make any decisions for themselves because they had it too rough as a kid. Or, I can't deal with this. My mom used to just make all the decisions for me. You can just do it for me. Like, do you know, like, when girls act like little girls, it's not attractive. Okay? If you don't know what you want, that's not attractive. Sitting there, oh, I don't really know. I don't know. That's not sexy. That's annoying. Okay, like, you know how hard it is to find somebody who's assertive, who actually knows what they want? Eat my pussy. Done. I didn't say go for burgers, right? Like set it straight. Done. It's there. Okay, you don't want it? Awesome. There's the door. Oh, okay, you want to go out for spaghetti? Great. Thank you for finally telling me what it is that you fucking want. Because I thought it was my dick, but I guess it isn't. I guess you want a chick. Right? Like, can we just say it? So then we don't have to start opening up all these doors and wondering, are we going to hurt somebody's feelings now? And, oh, I'm sorry, you don't like that offends you? Why do you care if something you said offends somebody? It's not offending you, it's offending them. That's nice. They don't like it. Awesome. See you later. There's probably like hundreds of people who would love to hear your perspective on something. Right? Would love to hear you talk about something. Like, if you offend somebody, awesome. You're getting under somebody's skin. You're doing something. And if you feel like that, like whatever it is that you're saying that's pissing people off is like kind of like, I don't know, like boosting you up a little bit, making you feel even better. It's like you're now setting the precedent of you're on that side, you stay on that side. You want to come over here, then that's awesome. You can come over here. But I'm not just going to let you be here because I think you're cool, or you dress good, or you're good looking. You either have a good perspective and you're on my team, or you have a fucked up perspective, you're over there. Regardless, I'm not going to judge you. We're just not on the same side. Thank you. I love you too. This is a really good reading. I'm really liking this. I'm really, really liking this energy. So I'm glad people are liking it. Okay, and this is one of those readings that it's like people are now like really starting to like wake up and realize that shit is just not right. It's not right in their life. It's not right in their partner. It's not right with their kids. It's not right with their parents. It's not right. And when you realize that something isn't right, then it's time to change it. Right? If you keep it the same, then you're never going to be able to grow. And there's this saying from Taking Back Sunday, which is, I have listened to the band Taking Back Sunday since I was 16 years old. Okay? And there's this saying, he goes, the problem isn't that I've changed. The problem is you stay the same. And when people stay the same, that's what they're setting. They don't like the new. They don't like when things change. They don't like an addition. They want it like this, and that's it. And to tiptoe around it and try to keep it that way for them is impossible. You can't do it. You can't do it. Nor can you possibly stay the same, so then you make them feel like, okay, well, we know her because she's the same. No, they don't. I can guarantee you the people even around you do not know you, because you are right now learning how to be your number one person. So you don't even know you. How can you not know you, but these people know you? No. They think they do because of what they see. Okay, but what they don't really figure out is that what they're seeing is an illusion, right? A lot of what you see is not really what's there. It's what they want you to see because it's what looks normal. But it only looks normal because you see a lot of it. Just in the house. Okay? It only looks normal because it's what's around. Right? So that's what people are trying to figure out now. Like they're slowly realizing that like the neighborhood church or the father or the girlfriend is not what the initial package was. And that is scary. Okay, when you realize that you just signed up for something that you weren't really fully knowledge about, okay, that's like psychological torment. Okay, that's signing a contract and then seeing afterwards, hey, by the way, you can never get out of this. You're like, great. How the fuck did I miss that? Right? Because sometimes we get so quick to do something, because we're in such shitty energy and we want it to change. So then we go and we take a risk to go and do something, but it wasn't the risk you were supposed to do, right? And realize the risk when you see one. Like, if you think all of a sudden that something is going to happen and you have to do something right at that very second or you're going to miss it forever, don't do it. Okay? That has been something that I've been fighting back and forth with, because I always thought that when all of a sudden you thought that you were going to never have something again for the rest of your life and to hold on to it, I thought that's what you did. And what I realize now is there could be better out there. And maybe it's not better as in you think it's going to get you something, but sometimes you have to let people leave or you have to walk away in order to see the whole perspective from a different view. Right? Like, and then you might go back and you might never. right? And I mean, right now, what is it? Paris Jackson is like on the streets of Bombay or some shit like that. She looks like a fucking bum with a backpack on. Okay, like if you want to escape, trust me, you can. Okay, you can. And if you want to escape from these people that are literally trying to control everything inside of you, you know, like they think that they have the remote to you, right? They think that if they say something, you're going to do it because they're used to having that control over you, right? They're used to saying, leave now or we're done, and you leave. You don't have to leave anymore. Because if somebody threatens something over you, this is it, I leave, you're never going to get it again. Once it goes, it's gone. Those, what I've noticed, are very weak people, and they're down to their last option. Their last option is to fuck with you, is to now threaten you because their back is up against the wall. Right? What are they commenting about? Oh, the microphone being so loud? Oh my god, can't they just turn the volume down on their phone? Like, I don't know. Like, why can't people just turn it down? Oh. I mean, I don't know how to set it. Like, I just don't understand. Why can't they just turn the volume down? Like, does it sound shitty? Or is it just loud? Heather's over it. I mean, come on, like at least you can hear it. It's called turn your volume down. Are they retarded? Or is it that loud that is it that obnoxious? I don't understand. I don't know, I'll listen to it later. I just put it on my chesticles. Maybe that'll help. Yelling to the mic. I like trying to keep my hair away from the mic. And, like, he's fucking assholes. Like, why? This is such an awesome message too. You know what? I'm actually glad that I put my sunglasses on today because like I can see what you're writing, but I can't see. It's a little bit dark. I've been seeing some weird things. Idiots. Like, needs to have a microphone. If I don't have this microphone, they don't understand. Then it's like you can't watch it later because it sounds like we're on an alien spaceship. Okay, let's wrap this up. Doo-da, doo-da. Look at that on the bottom of the mofo deck. You know, I can't lie if I tried. Like, there is a monster here. A monster who fucking hates you. Like, and you hate them. You hate everything that they do to you. You've hated everything they've done. And the thing is that you love them so much that you hate them. You hate what they do because how could the love that stems in your heart come out through such hatred in them? They don't know telepathy. They don't know how to read your telepathy. They don't know what you're saying. They don't know how to understand you because everything that they're shooting out, and that's the same with this guy. Like if he were to just notice what I was sending him, that I'm not angry or mad or upset, and that I loved him, that I thought about him all the time, that I considered him my friend for a very long time, and that he hurt me so much, and all he does is send me hate. And I feel like people will send you hate if they feel like you're going to reject them. Right? Aww. I'm sorry, Two-Tone. It really sucks, buddy. I feel you. They're in a cold place now. But you know what? Guaranteed, they still love you. And you know, this hate inside this person has turned them very cold. You know, and they have bad things in them, you know, bad blood in them. And they don't know to just walk away. They don't know that you don't have to act like a dick. You can just go. You know, you don't have to put yourself through shit. You can just walk away, you know? But I think a lot of people are controlled by things that they can't see, right? It's like, don't jump in the water because there could be a shark. Well, I mean, yes and no. Like, of course there could be one, but the chances of them actually being one are slim to none. If you jump in the water, you're most likely going to scare the shit out of them, and then they're not going to come back, right? So it's like, I feel like you have the ability to scare this person, and that's why they've been scaring you for so long, because they knew, and they'll always know, that you hold that power over them. They don't really have power over you. And now I just heard power of attorney. Like they don't understand who you are, and that scares them. Because this person is very uneducated, they're not confident, they don't have skills, and they're a bad person. So you figured them out, and it didn't take you very long to notice what you were working with. Once you realized that there aren't any sharks in the water, that actually you're swimming in a lake. It's not even salt water. So everything they've been telling you is a fucking lie. Everything. Okay? So bust out that peace pipe. Okay? Because the work is done. Okay? It really is. Like, you did work, a lot of work to get this person to get away from you. To walk away from you. To finally fucking leave you alone. And they didn't want to. How many times can you say, go away, until they actually do? Right? It's seeming like that. It's like you don't, like, people are so abused, and they're used to such abusive patterns and behavior that they act abusive towards you for you to abuse them back. And that's really sad. Like, these people who you're dealing with are very sad people. They're not happy people. They're sad, they're miserable, they're vulnerable, and they've most likely gone through something almost as traumatizing as what they put you through. They just never had a good role model around them. So they didn't know, hey, maybe you shouldn't fuck with your kid. Hey, maybe you shouldn't abuse your boyfriend. Hey, you know, that wife, she doesn't have to be here. She can actually leave. Right? But because your mom stayed, or because their mother stayed while being abused, or, you know, like, they expect to see the same patterns out of their behavior from somebody in the past. Right? Like, when they don't know that, you know, the next guy that they yell at isn't going to be like their dad, or the next woman that they hit isn't going to be like their mom, and that maybe they're just going to go straight to the cops. Maybe they're actually going to tell on them. Right? Times have changed, and this person's mind is not in 2024. You know, like, they're in a different time, they're in a different space, or they are just in their heads in general, and they don't know where they are. Right? You're dealing with people who are hurt, who are hurting themselves, and that's why they're hurting you, because they don't know any different. I'm like, that sucks. But it's the beginning of the end. And the beginning of the end means that you're moving the fuck on. Whether they want to stay in that energy because they can't change, good luck. Stay there all you want. Stay in 1950 if you want. I don't give a shit. I'm not going to stay there with you. How did Monster stay on the bottom? That was weird. Right? So, what? Hey, Wenbird. You're a little behind. We're almost done. Well, we basically are done. And I apologize for the mic being too loud. It's either not loud enough, or it's too loud, or it's cracky, or it's staticky. That's the spirit, Jess. That's how I feel. Ooh, look at that. The call. Oh, I thought it said call. The cat. Like, oh, okay, you know what I'm getting? There's the cat there with it. So the cat card is about these people who actually think they're cats, okay? They think that they come, like, I actually think they do, for movie's sake, come from cats. But the fact that it is there, you know what I'm getting, is like these people were tricked. They were tricked into believing they were monsters. You know, they were tricked into believing that you hurt your kids or that you're supposed to hurt people around you and that's how you show love. Like, these people were tricked themselves. Right? And that's why, I mean, being tricked or not being tricked, you should know fucking human nature. You should know that, no, it's not right to hit somebody, or no, it's not right to act that way. No, it's not right to control somebody using your emotions or your pussy or whatever the fuck it is. You know, like, no, that's not right. Right? Somebody was definitely tricked into believing a certain, like, way of life or format of life or something, and it was wrong. It was wrong, and, they base a lot of things off of that. So that's what I mean. Like, you know, parents have to be very careful, and people have to be very careful with how they act out there, because, I mean, you go ahead and you do something to somebody, it's going to come back to you. It's going to come back to you. And if you were really bad and you really hurt somebody, then it's going to come back to you times 10. So, yeah, I don't fuck with people. Never have, never will. Because I know goes around comes around, and I know that the way that I've been treated, just myself, I've never treated people that way. So I don't know if I did awful things in my last fucking previous life or something, but, or this is all just like credit for the future. I don't really know, but the way that I get treated is not the way that I treat others. So, I mean, whatever this is, like, don't be surprised if you're alone, or if you don't really have a lot of people around you. It's really because you have to form your own. Like, you got to get away from these people, because if you don't, then they're going to control more than just your mind soon. So, anyways, I'm super exhausted. This took a lot out of me. As you know, I have not done like an actual reading where I've spoken for a few, at least I think a week now. So my throat chakra has just not been wanting to speak. So I'm doing the alternative. And I hope this resonated. I'm starving now, so I gotta go eat. But yeah. Thank you for watching, and thank you to Heather for kicking ass. She has been kicking everybody out since the beginning, so thank Heather. Thank you, Wenbird. I know you didn't get here until late, but watch the reading. It was a really good reading today. See, now I'm yawning. When do I ever yawn during a reading? My God, I never yawn. All right, peace out, everybody. Bye, Heather. Heather's the only one that hasn't said bye yet. And are you driving, Heather? You might be driving. Oh, there you are. Okay. Well, have a good one, ladies. Thank you so much. Peace out, everybody, and thank you to everybody new. All right. Thank you. Much love. Goodbye.